Picture this. Somewhere in East Africa, about 150,000 years ago, there's a woman standing by a fire. She has no idea, no possible way of knowing, that every single human being alive today, all 8 billion of us, can trace an unbroken line straight back to her. Not kind of related to her, not one of many ancestors. Her, specifically. Every person on Earth right now shares a direct maternal bloodline to this one woman. Scientists gave her a name, Mitochondrial Eve. And today, we're going to figure out who she actually was, and why almost everything people assume about her is wrong. Let's get into it. Here's the twist right away. Nobody found her skeleton. Nobody dug up a body and put a name tag on it. We found her the same way you'd solve a 200,000-year-old murder mystery, with genetics. Inside almost every cell in your body, there are tiny structures called mitochondria. You probably remember them from school as the powerhouse of the cell. Annoying, but true. Here's the part they didn't teach you. Mitochondria have their own tiny separate DNA, and that DNA gets passed down in one very specific way, only from mother to child. Your dad's mitochondrial DNA? Dead end. It doesn't get passed on at all. So that means your mitochondrial DNA came from your mom. Who got it from her mom? Who got it from her mom? A chain going back and back and back, uninterrupted, for thousands of generations. In 1987, a team of geneticists, Rebecca Cann, Mark Stoneking, and Alan Wilson, did something wild. They collected mitochondrial DNA from people all over the world, every continent, every ethnicity. Then they compared it. And when you trace all those lines backward, mathematically, they all converge, every single one, onto one woman. Not because she was the only woman alive, not even close, but because she's the only one whose maternal line never broke. Okay, this is the part that trips almost everyone up, so let's slow down. Mitochondrial Eve was not the first woman. She was not the only woman on Earth at the time. She wasn't even necessarily special in her own community. No one around her thought, wow, historic woman alert. She lived among thousands of other people. Other women had children too. Some of those family lines are still around. You might be descended from 10 different women who lived at the same time as her. So why does everything trace back to just her? Think of it like a family tree, but flip it upside down. Every woman has daughters, and those daughters have daughters. But family lines die out constantly. A woman might have only sons. Her sons have kids. But remember, mitochondrial DNA doesn't pass through sons. That line is over, gone, erased from the maternal record forever. Or a woman might have no children at all. Or her daughters might have no daughters. Over thousands and thousands of generations, one by one, every maternal line broke, except one. It's not that she was chosen, it's that she got lucky. Over 150,000 years, every other woman's unbroken all-daughters chain eventually snapped somewhere. Hers didn't. Statistically, this isn't even surprising. It's basically guaranteed to happen to someone. It's just genealogy math. Every population, if you wait long enough, collapses down to one shared maternal ancestor. It's called coalescence, and it happens in every species, not just us. She's not the first woman. She's the last surviving root of the tree. So what was her life actually like? Best evidence points to East Africa, somewhere in the region of modern-day Tanzania, Kenya, or Ethiopia, around 150,000 to 200,000 years ago. This was not a lonely, empty world. Anatomically modern humans, Homo sapiens, had already existed for tens of thousands of years by this point. Small bands, hunter-gatherers, maybe 20, 30 people to a group. Life was almost unimaginably hard by our standards. No permanent homes, no agriculture. That's over 100,000 years away still. No written language. But her brain? Identical to yours. Same wiring for love, grief, fear, humor, curiosity. If you swapped a newborn from her tribe with a newborn today, raised in a modern home, there is no meaningful biological reason that child couldn't grow up to code software or write a symphony. She likely never traveled more than a few dozen miles from where she was born. She had no idea Asia existed, no idea there was an ocean called the Pacific. No idea, obviously, that her genetic legacy would eventually stretch across every continent on Earth, including one, Antarctica, that no human would set foot on for another 150,000 years. Now here's where it gets even stranger. There's also something called Y-chromosomal Adam, the most recent common ancestor of every man alive today, traced through the Y chromosome, which passes father to son. You'd think Eve and Adam were, a couple, living at the same time, maybe even the actual first two humans. They weren't. Current estimates put Y-chromosomal Adam anywhere from 200,000 to over 300,000 years ago, potentially tens of thousands of years before or after mitochondrial Eve. They may never have met. They may not have even lived on the same continent. Eve and Adam are catchy names science journalists slapped on for headlines. Geneticists regret it a little, honestly, because it makes people picture the Garden of Eden. It's not that. It's just where two completely separate genetic bookkeeping systems, one for moms, one for dads, happen to bottleneck down to a single person. Here's the part that should genuinely blow your mind. Mitochondrial Eve is not a fixed, permanent fact. She's a moving target. Every single generation, somewhere in the world, another all-daughters maternal line quietly goes extinct, which means the most recent common ancestor keeps shifting forward in time. 10,000 years from now, if humanity is still around, mitochondrial Eve will be a completely different, more recent woman, someone who might be alive on Earth right now, walking around, having no idea she is a candidate for the job. Somewhere on this planet today, there is a woman whose maternal line is destined to become the new bottleneck. We just don't know who yet. We won't know for thousands of years. That should mess with your head a little. The most important ancestor in human history hasn't necessarily been decided yet. So why does any of this matter beyond being a cool trivia fact? Because it proves something enormous. Every human being on Earth is family, not metaphorically, not we're all one species in a vague, feel-good way. Literally, provably, genetically, every person you have ever met, every stranger on every street on every continent, shares a direct maternal line back to the same African ancestor. The skin color, language, religion, and borders that divide people today? Those are incredibly recent inventions layered on top of a genetic reality that says otherwise. Mitochondrial DNA doesn't know about nations. It only knows mothers and daughters, going back in one unbroken chain to a single woman standing by a fire 150,000 years ago, with absolutely no idea what she started. She never had a name we'll ever know. She left no writing, no art, no grave we've identified. But she left the one thing that mattered most, a line that never broke. Every laugh, every argument, every wedding, every war, every single life lived by any human being in the last 150,000 years. Somewhere in the story, there's a thread leading back to her. So the next time someone asks where humanity really came from, you'll know the answer. It comes from a mother, just like it always has.